inshaAllah, always asking that our association be under the guidance and spiritual supervision of Sultan and Awliya, Shaykh Muhammad Nazim Haqqani, alhamdulillah, his beautiful face always around us, his representatives, Mawlana Shaykh Hisham Qabbani, Shaykh Qabbani, Shaykh Hisham, we keep his picture always above us, and that we're asking to be dust at their feet. They are the shaykhs, they are the guides, they are perfected beings, and I am nothing and no one, and their teaching for us is to reach a state of nothingness. I believe they call nirvana, empty. Emptiness, but not to stay empty, but to reach an emptiness through words and emptiness through action. Through that emptiness means the secret of binary code. There must be one on and there must be one off. Through that code all technologies, all realities are opening. Divine is on and we are off. As long as we remain on, that Divine light, that reality of that Divine light is not moving towards us because of the egoism and the ego desiring to be the Lord Most High. As long as I claim to have a form, a presence, a I-ness, then that Divine reality stays away. And that Divine reality says then eventually that I-ness will come down. Hence the reality of death. Everyone must taste death, everyone must be buried in the ground, and that burial is the time where all are equal. Whether you practiced or you didn't practice, whether you sacrificed, you didn't sacrifice, whether you built yourself, you didn't build yourself, it will be revealed to us that the I-ness perished and all that the I wanted and accomplished perished. But those that built their light and built their reality, built their energies, then experience that separation. Because in their living life, in their day-to-day practices, they determine that there is no need for the I. All there is a need for is the we or the he, the who. The who-ness of His Divine Kingdom, His Divine Majesty is all that is real, is all that is eternal. And all masters came to teach us to destroy the I-ness. From their wealth, from their status, from their stature in the material world, they left all of that to reach realities. And all their teaching was destroy the form, leave the form, place no importance on the form, and empty ourselves and move into that nothingness. In that nothingness, that Divine energy can begin to emanate and reflect to us. Then Mawlana Shaykh's teaching, then that imitated being is moving towards its reality, moving towards its real being, where at that time the Divine light can begin to shine and manifest its reality unto our being. But as long as we're in existence, that existence must be brought down. Meditation and Sufism, all of our practices are based on that teaching. Is to be taught the knowledge of this reality, then to practice the what we call the Ayn al-Haq, is the eye of certainty. Means that you have the knowledge of certainty, you take the knowledges of all of these teachings, all of our masters' teachings are all based on destroying the self and then teaching about the realities. So one, destroy the self, teach about the goal, where are we going, what is the purpose, what is the purpose of this journey. Then with that ayn al-yaqeen, it becomes a target for us. So we take these knowledges of what we are to destroy, what we're to bring up, then begins to open up our target, our bullseye. What is the vision of what we're shooting for? When we're shooting for those realities, then haqq yaqeen, the reality of certainty begins to open. Means if we don't have these knowledges, then we just move into an empty space and remain empty. So our masters are teaching us that to empty ourselves and move into that reflection. The best and the highest of these realities is the prophetic reality, that the Prophets are in existence to reflect to creation that divine reality. So then the example of the Prophets, the example of their life, the example of their way is then the source of that mirror. Because you must take yourself to a mirror and duplicate yourself. If I don't want to exist, then what is it that's going to exist? If it's my desires are not important but the divine desire is important, where is that divine desire manifesting? How do we know what's wanted from us? Then the reality of the Prophets, the messengers. The messengers sent by Divine Presence, that they have annihilated their self through the example in their life, the hardships and difficulties that they have endured, that all of their desires were constantly battled, all of their physicality constantly attacked, and nothing of their self was left, and they are the perfect reflection or mirrors of that divine presence. So then the Divine is sending that light to the reality of the Prophets, and the Prophets are reflecting that reality towards creation. So then when we empty ourselves and drop all of the self, drop all of my wants, all of my desires, then begin to look into that mirror, we're asking to look into that prophetic mirror. Then we're asking to move towards the reality of all the Prophets, and all of them have a teaching for our reality. From the reality of Sayyidina Adam, peace and blessings be upon him, teaching us that you are not from gorilla kingdom. You're not a giraffe that eventually got legs and walked, and you're not a monkey that lost your hair. You are a very noble creation, created from divine hands and from divine spirit blown into you, and you have been given all realities. And because of those realities, the angels bowed down to that greatness of what was bestowed within the heart. And Prophet Noah comes and teaches us, Noah alayhi salam, that we're going to be tested, and the reality of our faith is going to be built. We're going to fight ignorance, and we're going to build the ship of safety, and that ship is our soul. So every test in our life is building our soul. So we can't complain why a test is coming. It's like saying that there's a flood coming, and Divine is giving us planks of wood and nails to build a ship. Each difficulty, each hardship, each trial, each test is a plank with a nail. And if we complain and say, why? As if we didn't build our ship and our life is incomplete, and when this disaster comes, we have no ship of safety. So Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam is teaching us the reality of the safety, the ship of safety is that this soul, if you build it, if you understand through patience and perseverance, if you look at the wisdom of every test that's coming, meditate, contemplate, remain silent, don't fight back, understand life's trials and tribulations, you will build a tremendous power on your soul. And that soul is like a ship that knows its way home. it doesn't need any coordinates, doesn't need any help, it only needs our help to build it. As we're building and reflecting from the prophetic realities, because you learn by example of the prophetic realities that what did they teach when these trials and difficulties come. When my life has hardships and examples that are coming to me, look to the example of the Prophets. What did they do? What did that mean? When they were angry they washed, when difficulty was coming they fasted, when there was confusion they prayed. By that example they're teaching us how to cope with all of our trials and tribulations. Then Noah's teaching us, as we're patient through those, our soul is gaining power. As our soul is gaining power, it's preparing now to move on that flood. And every time a state of ignorance is going to be overwhelming, then the divine promise is that a flood is coming. Because then it's teaching us the only thing that takes away ignorance is water. Means the fire of ignorance can only be washed with the fire of water. And then the reality of water begins to open in our lives. That this is an angelic fire. It doesn't burn us because angels are stable by nature. But teaching us that understand your water, the water you drink, the water you bathe, and most important, the 70% of your body, that's water. So your chanting, your practices is purifying your water. Washing, showering, understanding how to battle negative energy is going to wash away ignorance and build the power of the soul. And then taking us to the Prophet Abraham and the Prophet Moses, peace and blessings be upon him. Sayyidina Ibrahim teaching us that all this world is going to throw fire at you, and if it hits you and you allow it to ignite, you're going to lose and you're going to burn. Everyone is a Nimrod, most of all family members. They have the ability to burn you in an instant. Strangers don't burn you, you don't care what they say. Divine knows that our loved ones have all the buttons, and this is divine testing. They're going to start firing these buttons, and if we hit and ignite, the test was lost. The mission was destroyed, the ship was burned, and the test must begin over. And when the test begins over, they inspire us, stay patient, use your practices, stay silent. Means silence is golden. Means that these realities they're teaching us, you are being tested. At some point in time you have to pass your test. You can't stay on your path for 90 years and get nowhere. Well, some people do. People they stay as like it's a prison term. A spiritual path is not meant to be a prison term where the longer you stay, the more powerful you are. If we are submitting and sincere, within the first day these masters can open all realities to the heart. They're teaching us that we have to put our effort, we bring our meditation, our practices, take these knowledges. They're teaching us from the reality of that mirror, because we're talking about the meditation and reflecting. Each of these Prophets ﷺ are going to teach us on our perfection. Sayyidina Ibrahim is going to come and say that I'm the custodian of the nafs al-mutma'inna, the assured ego, the ego that doesn't battle, the ego that will help you to reach your reality. At that gate I'm teaching you, don't be angry, don't fight back, don't rebel, stay consistent and stay quiet. No need for the world to hear your opinion, it doesn't count. But that's big for us in a world of activism where everybody runs on the street thinking their voice counts for something. I know after somebody's going to come and tell me, hey, you're wrong. Anything we teach, you just have to be patient through the teaching, and that too shall pass. In this level of teaching, if we really truly contemplate, this life is like a program, and programmers understand what we're talking about. The programmer who developed Microsoft Word, he developed it, he sealed it, and he gave you the software to use. People who don't understand programming, they maybe think that they can type and change something in the software. That software is locked. You can do all the things you want and you're not going to change that software. You're playing with keys, you're writing sentences, you're doing all sorts of stuff, but you're not changing that program. You're wasting a lot of time, you're aggravating yourself, and in the end the program wins. Unless you're a hacker. Hacker are like saints. The concept of a hacker is he doesn't go in illegally, but he's been given permission to enter into that software, to assist creation in that software and modify by divine permission parts of that software. But for me and you, we have no permission to modify that software. It means what has been written is written. If I fight and yell and scream, it doesn't change a thing, because now our faith is building. As our faith is building, you see a hand over everything, and everything that's coming to me is from that hand, good and bad. If it's something I'm not pleased with, it's a cleansing and purification for me to look at that mirror and say, what is it that you're not pleased with? Somebody yelled at you, maybe you spend all your day yelling at people, and you feel the sour and the bitterness of that yelling and the stinging. Because we do unto others, but we don't expect it to be done back to us. And the Prophets were teaching, no, you're wrong, the Divine will send it back to you. And then we see difficulty that comes in our life is a reflection for us. And when goodness comes into our life, it's a mercy from that hand. So then we start to see that, Ya Rabbi, your hand is on everything. My job is only to submit. As submission is increasing and increasing and increasing, that I can't move one finger from that divine hand off of me. I may spend all my life trying, but spiritual masters taught us, we learn. We learn that no hands move. Accept that hand, accept that will, accept that might, and that becomes the Lord's prayer. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Means in your kingdom it's only your will, and here I'm under the illusion that I'm doing something. I'm only playing within the hand, bouncing on the fingers. But in reality when the game is finished, that hand goes down and I'm in the grave. There's nobody who escapes these fingers, nobody got out. So I'm now living 20,000 years and I got out of this. So Divine is teaching, no escape, just submit, just submit. And Nabi Musa comes and teaches us that when you begin to submit and begin to deal with the battles in life, instead of a fire that burns people, your heart is a burning fire. Shimbala, the Shimbala tree, the lot tree, the tree of life. Shambhala shows a burning flame. All masters were teaching the same reality, that if you're a fire burning people, that's the example of a volcano. So no master came and drew an example of a volcano and said, let's be volcanoes and we're going to hurt everyone. But they drew the symbol of a burning tree, of a flame, like the logo on the shirt, that my Lord, whatever's coming to me and I'm not understanding or understanding, my heart is burning. Burning out of love for you, burning out of difficulties that my physicality may be facing, difficulties that my soul may not be understanding, but I'm containing that. I'm containing that. I'm containing that. And then that becomes the symbol of our divine presence. God is not a burning bush, God's not a bush. But Moses ﷺ is teaching us, you will see God in the condition that you are in. If you're a violent person, you see God as violent. If you're crazy, you see God as crazy. If you're in love and passionately in love, you see God as passionate and loving. And these prophets are teaching us, take yourself to that condition. Purify and cleanse yourself, because anything else you see God through will be an illusion. If you see Him as something violent, you are sick. The disease is still rampant within you. If you see Him as greedy or stingy, you see Him as cursing and constantly. There are people who only curse other people and they think God is cursing. Say haq. So when they sneeze, it's truth. So then the prophets are teaching us, take all the disease out, and the only one who should burn is you. Don't burn people, don't harm people, but you burn yourself. Keep all of these difficulties within yourself until your heart is in a state of burning. Then, my Lord, I can't take it anymore, reveal yourself to me. Means grant me a relief, grant me from your presence, grant me from your energies, your ecstasies, your emanations. You have to be in want to receive. If you come here thinking this spiritual food is going to bless you, and you come on a full stomach, you have come and left without the blessings. And everybody here can say, eat something. Say, no, I'm full, thank you, I ate before I came. You missed all the blessings of this association. So if we're taking ourselves to that divine presence and we're full, we're going to go with a bucket or a cup and come back empty. So then they create a state of yearning, a state of completely lowered ourselves. We've been humiliated, everybody bothered us and we didn't say anything back, and now it's written in stone and we stay quiet, and in that dire need then you begin to pray, and that need begins to open the curtain of sincerity, and that sincerity opens and Divine Presence is saying, what is it that you want, O my servant? What is it that I can grant you? Because now the dialogue is sincere and we're hungry, and that character has been taken, and now a humble servant who has been humiliated is in Divine Presence. Means we have abased ourselves and lowered ourselves. So Nabi Musa is teaching us, like the fire your heart must be. You must be in complete passion and ecstasy of the Divine, that you've been going 7 years in a desert and still no relief. And then Sayyidina Isa takes the hand and says, now if you're ready and you're ready to meet your Lord and your heart is in that condition, then I am the one who's going to lift you from your animal characteristics. Because his example is no father. We have our wildness from our fathers, the good character from the mother. Because mother by nature is soft. The wild character within us is from our Baba. So the wilder your Baba was. Difficulties come on children from the sins of their father. Then teaching us, purify yourself, perfect yourself. Once you begin to perfect yourself, they start to teach us all these realities. Perfect yourself not only for yourself, but for your family. They're carrying an unnecessary burden as an inheritance you gave them. Everybody concerned about the inheritance of dunya, that my dad left me $10, my dad left me $1,000. They're excited about those inheritance. Mawlana says you should be worried about the inheritance, you don't know what your dad left you. Those inheritance you're carrying as your character. If we don't clean them now, we clean them in the grave. So then our spiritual masters are coming and teaching us, perfect yourself, cleanse yourself, bring down your low characteristics, if not for yourself, for your family, for your children. That is the true inheritance. You reach to that light, reach to that perfection, and you have given your family a gift of eternity. That is the Christmas. We said before, at Christmas time, maxing your credit cards is not Christmas. Giving a gift that you pass by hand is not a gift. It's a burden and creates an unnecessary desire. The true gift that the Prophets are teaching us is give the gift of perfection. Perfect your light, perfect your character, perfect your soul, so that your Lord is happy with you. In that happiness it dresses all your descendants, and they're all happy from that inheritance and receiving from that light and from that blessing. So Sayyidina Isa is then teaching us, I have no father, I have from an immaculate birth, my mother brought me into this life, and I am the one who will lift you. As soon as divine order comes, that your heart is in that sincere condition, I begin to lift you towards that divine presence. Means that's why He's the bridge in the last days. He comes towards all creation. And I'm a rabbi, you must believe me. I'm in your Christian books, you must believe me. I'm in your Qur'an, you must believe me. You must leave your animal desires. If it's paradise you want, there are no animals accepted in paradise. The saints describe that they see us not in our real being, they see us from our animalistic characteristics. That when you're overwhelmed by your animal desires, your spiritual appearance is from haywan, wild beasts. So many times Mawlana sees people like monkeys or donkeys or camels or gorillas. Says some very bad are like scorpions and wolves, that all they know is to sting and destroy. And a group of, we've given that example before, a group of people came to Shaykh Nazim in Cyprus and said, oh Mawlana, we'd like permission for seclusion. Seclusion is very big in tariqah. You go 40 days into isolation, coming by order of Prophet coming from an order from Prophet to the saints, and the saints give you the order to go. They came to the Shaykh and said, give us permission to go for seclusion. And he kept saying, monkey in, monkey out. And they said, no, no Mawlana, we want to go to seclusion. And he would look around and say, monkey in, monkey out. So they walked away, and some people tapped on them. I said, you have to understand, Mawlana is speaking, and make it seem like he doesn't know what you're saying, but he knows very well, and he knows English perfectly, he knows all these things perfectly. He's telling us that what's the difference? If you don't have spiritual training, you have no discipline, the monkey that you are now goes in and comes out the same monkey. Nothing has changed. And we said that the characteristic of a monkey, when we want to know what type of characteristics, we don't even have to look too far. We can see the example very quickly in our character. Monkey, they say, how you hunt a monkey? Put a hole in a tree and a few berries, and the monkey puts his hand into the tree, feels those berries and locks his fist. The size of the fist keeps the monkey trapped onto the tree. And the hunter coming, sharpening his knife, it doesn't occur to the monkey, let go of those nuts. Let go and run. You'll be safe. And Mawlana teaching us, most of us have that characteristic now. They're telling us, leave the desire of the material world and move towards the reality. And like a monkey about to be slaughtered, we hold to a few nuts. And we think, oh no, these nuts are good. Nobody has taken any of these nuts past the grave. The example were the pharaohs. They thought they're taking all their nuts with them, until somebody dug it up and put it now in a museum for everybody to walk and laugh. Look how they thought they were taking all these treasures, and now we walk through the museum and see them for $10. The Divine teaching us, nobody takes anything. Don't build your life thinking that your material world is going to go anywhere. It's a complete waste of time. You need it enough to eat, to breathe, to rent your home, to take care of your family, to take care of your way, and other than that, put no desire into your material life, but build your spiritual reality. So Sayyidina Isa begins to take us for an ascension. So I'm going to lift you up and I'm the resurrector. That animal characteristic must die and you must be resurrected towards your heavenly reality. That in paradise is only the paradise and the real beings. Animal being must stay. So reaching a state of death before death. That all the desires have gone and all the love of Divine is there, as if you are dead in this world and people don't understand you. And say, how come you don't have interest? We want to go out here, we want to go out there, we want to do this, we want to do that, and you have no interest in your heart for that. You have more interest just to sit and do your meditation, your contemplation, to be in heavenly associations because you feel that emanation and your soul moving in the lights of those emanations. You are dead in this world and you exist merely out of Divine love. The saints have no desire to be living in this world. When they reach the state of death before death, they have the ability to stop their heart and their body fall dead and leave, and everybody can come and bury them. But their promise with Divine Presence is that you stay in existence and you guide people back to the path that you're aware of. Because you cannot guide through something you don't understand and have not experienced. It would be the blind leading the blind. So awliya Allah, what makes the saints saints is they have died, they reached the nucleus. They are now in existence to come back and take people on a path of fellowship, the fellowship of the ring. They take everybody back on that path into that Divine Presence. They've traversed, they know all the tricks, they know all the things that you're going to, like going on a tour guide. At this point something scary is going to jump out of that side over there. Don't worry, look this way. And as soon as you go this way, oh, it's going to be a drop, a very steep drop. They're taking you on their path. They're not taking you on an imaginary path, and they're not taking you on another shaykh's path. That's why each of the schools are named like Naqshbandiyya, means it's a Naqshbandiyya path. That they have died, traversing that path, they come back to the beginning and now start taking a fellowship of like-minded seekers. And they walk that exact same path. They know every pebble of that path. They know everything that's going to come. Otherwise how they can be a guide? A guide means you have seen and you know where you're going. If you're unseen and unknown is not guidance. It would be called guessing, and they wouldn't be guides, they would be good guessers. Where what's happening here, I have no idea. Well, let's wait to see. The secret of guidance is they've walked that path and they're taking us to that reality. Sayyidina Isa begins to resurrect us. Say, your animal desires have died. You are now from the people of paradise. If you're from the people of paradise, we take you to the hands of Sayyidina Muhammad, and he is the master of annihilation. He is the master of completing your death, putting no importance on yourself and annihilating yourself in Divinely Presence. That once you move into that Divinely Presence, you're nothing. Qashya, you're dust. He's the owner of Surah Al-Kawthar. فَصَلِّ رَبِّكَ وَانْهَرْ means pray to your Lord and sacrifice. He's the Master ﷺ of sacrifice. His family and his companions are the example of sacrifice. That they have laid their lives, laid their property, everything has been completely obliterated for that Divine Presence. Means you cannot go to someone to teach you annihilation who has not annihilated. That's why Sayyidina Ibrahim, peace and blessings be upon him, doesn't teach you about annihilation. Because he was asked to sacrifice his son and he couldn't. His heart shook, a lamb was given and Ismail was sent. So Sayyidina Ibrahim comes and teaches us, sacrifice property, sacrifice wealth, sacrifice character. But when you're delivered to Sayyidina Isa, he's each master teaching, each prophet teaching from their mastery. The Sayyidina Isa says, I have no father, I'm the only one who can teach you this reality. I don't have that wildness. I will teach you how to die, leave that material being and move towards your heavenly being. And I take you to the master of annihilation, and he's the master of annihilating yourself in Divine Presence. He's the secret of binary code. He's the secret of the code between Ahmad wa Ahad, and nothing comes between that code, between 1 and 0. Teaches us that in that Divinely Presence you are nothing, you are dust. Don't show yourself. Annihilate yourself. There can only be one in that Divinely Presence. So all the Prophets are teaching us that reality, teaching us to look into that mirror. The meditation, Naqshbandi meditation, based on that understanding, we are nothing. Our bad character must be brought down through the teachings of Awliya, through the teaching of our Naqshbandi saints, the example of the life of all the Prophets, how to bring that down, look to them as the example. As soon as we begin to meditate and contemplate, we're breathing bizikrahu, in, hu, out, seeing ourselves as the physical body like asleep, not moving, not doing anything, moving into that ocean of meditation, moving back into that ocean of reality, back to the nucleus. For us to exist in the form, we must exist in the world of light. In that world of light is my reality, is your reality. This is just an illusion, this is an imitated being. Moving into that reality, breathing and seeing ourselves in that reality. When we say seeing ourselves, means through our heart and our faith, knowing that we're in that ocean of light, and start to breathe with that chanting. Breathe with that energy coming in front of us, to the right of us, to the left of us, behind us, above us, below us, from all directions, breathing that light. Breathing that energy, asking in that ocean that, my Lord, I'm asking to be nothing and move into that ocean of power. But I'm asking to be in the presence of those mirrors. I'm asking to be in the presence of your Prophets, whom you love and you perfected their lights and their souls in that ocean of energy. And I'm asking from that ocean of energy to dress me, to bless me. Means take yourself to that location, that in that location I'm nothing, all I want is energy and light, but in that location where the Prophets are. You give your coordinates, it's like saying on the GPS, I want to go to the Friday zikr. What does that mean? Put the coordinates in. Then the voice tells you, we are now plotting out a route for you, and tells you step by step, left, right, how to get to your destination. So then awliya are teaching us, because they are in that destination. They know exactly where they are, and they know exactly where their feet are, and they're teaching us, put your GPS address in. That you want to be in that ocean of power, you want to be breathing in that ocean of power, you want to be in the presence of all the Prophets. That I don't know who you're going to put me in with, I'm not asking to be with Haji Baba, I'm asking to be with the Prophets of God. Ya Rabbi, you sent them as Prophets, I'm asking to be with them. If you are pleased with them, be pleased with me. What you dress them, dress me. And then see ourselves in that ocean and breathing in that ocean, asking to be dressed from that ocean. Then we ask from their power and from their might. What the Divine has dressed these saints is they begin to lower a veil in our heart, and they allow the receiver within the heart to connect with that light. Like a beam of light traveling faster than the speed of light, it connects back into that reality. You don't have to be teletransported anywhere. Nobody has to pick you up and move you somewhere. The body isn't going anywhere. Nor do you want to take that, what they call like that camel, into the divine palace. It's a camel, it's something not meant for divine presence. You want the reality of the soul in divine presence. That soul is a light, can move faster than the speed of light. It can connect into that ocean of light, but what's blocking it is no permission. We have not purified and perfected ourselves. So we ask through their backstage pass, through their permission, through what they have been granted, grant us an access. Grant us through what you have been granted an access, and drop that veil. For just a moment they drop that veil, and at the speed of light and faster you see yourself in that ocean, you feel yourself in that ocean, and then that communication begins. The greater reality, the higher consciousness is communicating with the lower consciousness and begins to send the signal, begins to send the energy, begins to send the coordinates. The more and more we're practicing that, the more and more we begin to open from that reality, where now the lower consciousness is being fed from the higher conscious, and then there is no difference. It means it's real-time connection for these masters. That real-time connection is constantly coming to their heart, and their greater reality in divine presence is always dressing their physicality, hence the abundance of energy. And we said the energy for the association is like a microwave, that you step into the association, they can begin to punch their codes, and immediately everybody become heated, everybody become energized, and you begin to feel a tremendous heat on the back of your neck. Means you are cooking. The reality of that light and that energy begins to hit the soul, and the soul is in ecstasy and bringing in that energy. We pray that they open for us those realities, they open for us these lights, these energies, and that we are weak servants in the face of tremendous difficulties, tremendous hardships that are coming to humanity, that we see all around us suffering beyond our imagination. Visualize that suffering and visualize our families and our loved ones. It can happen to us in an instant. Everything in one shout, it was but one shout and everything was destroyed. So anytime we see hardships, visualize ourselves that our families, any of us could be in that type of difficulty, and grant us your salvation, grant us your light, grant us your presence, grant us your happiness, and we're leaving our dirtiness and moving towards your realities. Ya Rabbi, open for us from your lights and from the presence of your prophets and from the presence of your malaika and the presence of your awliya. إلى شرف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وآله وصحبه الكرام ولا مشايخنا في طريقة النقشبندية العالية، خاصة روحي من طريقة قوة خليقة شيخ نقشبند محمد ويسر البخاري.